Good morning, everybody. Today is January 16th, 2026. It is 10:07 a.m. in the morning. It is Thursday. Today's walk is 5:04, and then after this, I'll be doing 5:05. Okay, so yesterday I did not walk. I ended up getting super busy. And if I went ahead and walked yesterday, it would have been almost 6 p.m. and that was just too late, and it was colder than it is right now. Okay, so the last video did not go well. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys that. My treadmill stopped, and of course the second time when I wasn't recording and I was walking, my second 40 minutes, everything was fine. I started choking on water. It just did not go well. So yesterday I kind of pumped myself up to do this walk, and then it just got later and later in the day. I had some things to do in the house, and the next thing I knew, like I said, it was already the evening. Okay, so we should be at, I think, incline 12. I thought 13. Okay, so let's hope today that the treadmill behaves. And I gotta move this over so I can see the speed. All right, so we're gonna try to get it up to speed 2.5. I got it up to, I think it was like 2.0 when it had stopped, and it gave some type of code that I've never seen before, and I don't know where the manual is to know what that is. And I also forgot to look it up. Okay, so I'm going to hold on until I can get it up to 2.5. So we're at 1.3. This morning I had a doctor's appointment, or else I would have been out here earlier, and I'm kind of slightly happy that even though I would like to be out here no later than 8:30 for the first walk, that I wasn't, because I'm pretty sure it was colder than this. My car had ice on it this morning. Okay, we're at 1.5. And I was standing here thinking, where's my other paper? But I forgot. I did something I don't normally do, and I printed my page front and back. And then I was gonna test to see if this emergency thing right here had just kind of moved a little bit, and if that would cause it to stop. But yesterday after my second walk, I was so tired that I didn't even test it. So I don't know if it throws a code. Usually, unfortunately, if this comes off, it's because you pulled it off. And there is a clip to it, but I don't clip it on there because I don't want to accidentally pull it off. Okay, we're 2.0. Let's give it a couple seconds and see if it just kind of does okay. And then also, I did go ahead and order another pair of these shoes. So, as much as I would hate to waste them and throw them away, that little bit of cushion that they had, like underneath, or even if some of it was inside, is kind of completely gone. And so I've decided that I'm just gonna throw these away and start using the other pair. Hopefully they're as comfortable as these are. They're a good pair of shoes, and they have a good mix of cushion, not too much, and then also shock absorption. So I mean, I could keep them to use them for everyday use because I don't wear them that often outside of this walk. So I don't know. If my feet are, like my left foot starting to hurt, if it's hurting like this, I can imagine trying to walk around in these. Okay, I did not plan on speeding that up twice. You guys heard it beep twice, that's 2.3. So we have 2 more. Okay, we're 2.5. Let's just hope that it behaves like it did on the second walk and not the first one. Okay, let's do a time check really quick. Let me move this paper over here. We're at 5 minutes and 19 seconds. All right, so the topic for today is, or I should say, are 2 things. One, first, are going to be a couple of my eidetic memory stories. And then I actually found this information online, so don't quote me on this if this is not correct. I just did a search on Google. But I found it kind of interesting that there are differences between an eidetic memory and a photographic memory, which is what I would have called what happened. Okay, so anyway, I don't know if I told you guys, but I think I did. I had bought a 2-pack of sunglass cases for bigger sunglasses. And one of them I use to keep a light in that's portable for when you do nails. Well, the other one I thought, do you remember those sunglasses I told you about? They're polarized that I wear over my glasses, that I'm hoping that I can stop doing. And yes, I'm still waiting on both of my prescription sunglasses. And so if they don't work the way I need them to block out the sun, well, at least the ones that now, I got the new pair this year, hoping that they would do that, because the other ones, like I said, the color of the lens, not only is it brown, but it's too light. Well, I said, I'm going to find this case. So I spent about 2 weeks on and off looking. And then, not yesterday, the day before, I actually went inside and I said, okay, I think that I can find it. As a matter of fact, it was yesterday. That's right. Yes, it was. Because that was one of the things I was going to talk about. So this topic was supposed to be yesterday's topic. Okay, so I looked in all the places I looked before, and I told myself, you know what? What good is that going to do? You did not overlook it. It's not a small case, and it's a bright pink. Where else should you look? And I said, well, you can also find another case to put the light in, and then you can take that case and use it for your glasses. Every case I came across, even the one where I finally realized where I put it, and it wasn't exactly how I remembered it. It wasn't as triangular shaped as I thought. It wouldn't fit in any of them. So that's okay. Back to square one. I was thinking, you're wasting time. You need to get out there. Just go ahead and order another one. They still sell them. The exact same one. All right, fine. Then I thought about it. And I just had, like, not even a flash of a picture. It was up longer than a flash. I don't know how many seconds. 30, 40 seconds. I pictured a Michael Kors backpack that I used to use. Unfortunately, I'm going up in size in my everyday backpack that I carry. I just can't do the small ones. I have long fingers. I have a lot of stuff to carry. And so I said, now I know what this backpack can hold. And it's actually going to be one of those backpacks where I take it out of town and I don't need as much. Might be a little too big for what I want it to be, but it's not big enough for an everyday backpack. And as soon as I pictured the backpack, I pictured the case clipped onto it. I said, no way. You said you put it in plain sight. The next place you put it, you weren't going to lose it. We're at 9 minutes and 48 seconds. So then I thought, that has to be it. You've looked all around this house. You didn't set it up on any counter like you thought. It has to be on it. I mean, it was as if it was just laying there, and there it was, clipped on there. That's how I saw it. So then I thought, okay, problem. Where did you put the backpack? I have a lot of backpacks, a lot of purses. We need more space. I don't know what we're gonna do with that room still. I know, it's been years, but I think it really needs to be a closet. But I said, you wouldn't have put it somewhere where there was no space, and you would have put it somewhere where you would have easy access to it, because it's still in really good condition. I said, okay. So I felt around for it in my closet. See, kind of frustrated because I was like, I'm not finding it. And I thought, no, keep going. And then I saw the zippers. Whoever designed this backpack, it used to come in a really pretty cream color. It also comes in a dark blue. I think the black and the dark blue are the only ones that sell on Macy's. .com and at the Macy's store now. And I really want the cream one, but I thought no, black would be better. But whoever designed that one was in the company of Michael Kors. Thank you. With the huge gold holes on there. That's the piece that you pull to slide for the zipper. I saw them. And then I started pulling the backpack out. And at first it was like, womp, womp, womp. Like it's not there. I said, look. And I saw the front of the case. And I thought, or the edge of it. That's right, because it was turned sideways like this. I said, wow. Now, you're probably thinking that's not a big deal, but it's been more than 2 weeks that I've been looking for it. It's just the past 2 weeks, it was more like this is going to become a part of your day if you can set out time to find it. This became, I'm determined to find it. I've been looking for this case for months. If I were to tell you 3 to 4 months, I'm not over-exaggerating. But in the past 2 weeks, I thought, I really hate to waste money. I don't want to buy another one when it's in really good condition and I know I have it. So the other item, and I really wish I had wrote it down because the rest of this is printed. I honestly don't even remember what it was, but same thing. I just pictured it. And I always thought I had like a slight photographic memory, but I didn't know there was a name for it if it wasn't photographic. And so whatever it was, I found that too, and I thought, I'm having a good week. Everything I haven't been able to find in the past, let's say 6 months to 8 months, I have literally found within the past 2 to 3 weeks. So I was really happy about that too, because whatever it was, I needed it. I just remember where I put it. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the second topic, which is, like I said, eidetic versus photographic memory. I really hope that was just a fly. That's all I would need in here is a bee. And I want to say, now that I think about it, it might have been a ring or a watch or something like that. Whatever it was, I found it. I'll probably think of it probably by the end of the video, and I can tell you guys. Okay, so anyway, memory just kind of, I won't say fascinates me, but it is an intriguing thing to me of how it can work. How just all of a sudden you can remember something, but it's even, I don't know, I guess it's kind of cool to me when you picture it as if it was there all along and it's going to be right where you thought it was once you remembered. Right, but the picturing it part, seeing it, like you can reach out and touch it, is what I found really interesting. Okay, so the memory where you can picture what you're remembering is called eidetic memory, often known as, and it's in quotations, photographic memory. Though true photographic memory isn't scientifically proven, eidetic imagery involves vivid, detailed mental pictures lasting seconds to minutes, common in children, where the image feels, in quotations, out there, and fades, unlike the lasting recall of a real photo. Key characteristics of eidetic memory: vivid imagery. People, and I know I'm going to say this wrong, in parentheses it says eideticers, the actual name for the people that can do this, see a clear, detailed, almost real image after the original stimulus is gone. And I wanted to know if I was correct when I thought, so stimulus must be the object. Or, I don't want to say the person, but you know, whatever you've lost, right? So that's how I'll look that up. And I'll find out that's what's in the back. When it comes to eidetic memory, and it's talking about a stimulus, what is that? But let me finish reading this first. So it says brief duration. The image typically lasts from seconds to a few minutes before fading, unlike permanent photo recall. Projected. The image often appears in the external visual field, not just in the mind's eye. So I guess the part that intrigues me the most is the projection part of it. And like I said up at the top, more common in children. It's a phenomenon mostly observed in kids and tends to disappear as they age. Well, mine didn't. Not perfect. Eidetic images can contain mirror, that's just minor. They look like, look at R. Minor errors or distortions. Note the IFL science. And now it says eidetic versus photographic memory. Eidetic, a short-term fading mental image, scientifically recognized but rare. That's interesting. When I read this the other day, or actually, I think I printed this out yesterday, I didn't notice that part. Photographic. Oh, wow. I don't like that they put that. In parentheses, they put myth. Eidetic is about as close to photographic as you can get, right? It says, a perfect long-term recall of images, like entire book pages, which has never been scientifically demonstrated to exist, according to Wikipedia. Okay, not me. It really says according to Wikipedia on there. So at the bottom, to conclude everything, it says, in essence, when you can, in quotations, see your memory, you're experiencing eidetic imagery, a fascinating form of temporary high-fidelity visual recall. Okay, so in the back, like I said, the question I specifically asked was, what does a stimulus refer to when it comes to eidetic memory? And this is what it said. In eidetic memory, a stimulus refers to the specific visual input, an image, scene, or object that a person, an eidetiker, observes and can then recall with remarkable detail, as if it were still present for a short duration, seconds to minutes, after the original stimulus is gone. Often described as a lingering, in parentheses, after image. The key is that the mental image remains vivid and detailed after the actual external stimulus is removed, allowing for continued scanning and reporting of details. How it works with a stimulus. And I was thinking, of course, there are other things that have been done where I think this has been used. You guys know what I'm talking about, so I won't really get into it. But usually it's when they have a person to help them with certain things, to find certain things. Like I said, unfortunately, people, things like that. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, we'll stay on this topic though. So when it said that I have to state that photographic memory has not scientifically been proven and it's a myth, I think we're past that. I don't think it is. Okay. Anyway, how it works. Exposure. Some of this is a repeat, but there's a couple of new things in this. A person sees a visual stimulus, example, a complex picture, a page of text, for a short time, often less than 30 seconds. Retention. After the stimulus is removed, the eidetic retains a high quality, detailed mental representation, the eidetic image. Projection. This image feels out there, in quotations, projected into the visual field, and the person can mentally look, in quotations, at it, scan it, and describe its content. So this is when it starts to get interesting to me. And then it says fading. The image gradually fades and loses clarity within minutes, differentiating it from true long-term photographic memory. And they had to put again, which isn't scientifically proven to exist, in parentheses. Examples of stimuli. A child looking at a picture book and describing details not noticed during the initial viewing. That was something interesting. Someone viewing a complex diagram and later recalling its exact layout. So now it started going into the person can get super detailed. And then exact. It didn't say almost, it says exact. So the conclusion for this was essentially the stimulus is the initial, in quotation, snapshot that triggers the ability to generate a vivid, temporary mental copy. So now I know that I'm not saying I don't have photographic memory. I'm just saying I definitely have eidetic memory. And I think it's really useful. So if you have either or both, then I would love to hear your story. What did you lose? Or in this case, what do you think that you had lost? And if you would like to share more details, like let's say, what were you doing when this image popped up? Washing dishes, laundry, things like that. About how long would you say this image stayed up? And was it an image of where the object was, with it being where you had left it? Or did you have like an image pop up of, let's say, I'd say it almost like a small video clip. You literally can see yourself putting that object there, let's say walking away, or putting it there and then it fades. and then that's how you remembered where it was. So you can get as detailed as you like. And of course, you leave out personal details. Couldn't think. I felt like I was gonna drop the bottle. For some reason it's slippery. Well, I don't know, maybe I have like, my hands are oily today, that's awkward. But yes, we're 25 minutes, 9 seconds, and I didn't really expect to read over it this that fast. I'm trying to think. Well, I was thinking which one I'd rather have if I could only have one. But like I said, one is a lighter weight version of the other. I would probably have to say photographic, I think, would be really cool. Because so far, if it's words that I remember, it'll be, let's say, and I remember seeing it like I'm reading it, it'll be like a couple of sentences. I would love for it to be a whole paragraph or even a whole page. I know someone that told me, and I think back in college, I had a speech class. And it was on how to give speeches. And so I do remember something about that. It was tips and tricks of what you could do. So one, you could have like index cards, right? Or do what I did, print out a whole page. And I remember our teacher, she did go into reading as well. Like maybe you're reading a speech that you're going to give the night before. And I think she had said that we read in pictures. That when you read in your mind, you shouldn't read word for word. So look at a sentence or a part of it and read it like that. And I understood what she was saying, like we got it. But being able to do it is different because when I read to myself, I read out loud so I can hear myself saying the words. And about 80% of the time, it's every word. But I think I need to practice because sometimes you have long documents to read. And before, especially if I wasn't interested, not that that should have to play a part, but for me it does. Not did, does. If I'm not interested in what I'm reading, I don't even think it's so much I can't remember it. If there's 5 pages, I'll probably have to read page 1 like once or twice, maybe even 3 times, the whole page. Before I can even go to the second. And then, I hate to say this, but it's honest, I have to find a purpose. Not the reason why I'm reading it, something to make me want to read it. You know how like when you need to do something, sometimes you just don't, or you do but you don't want to? Well, for me, the more I don't want to do it, especially if it involves a lot of reading, the longer it takes. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, I'm like that too. Yes, but it's frustrating because I would like to say I pick up on doing things pretty quickly, but it's depending on what it is. So if I could at least start to read like that, let's say 2-3 sentences at a time, that would help. Because I know other people that can read way faster than I can, and that's what they tell me they do. They'll look at, sometimes if they have to, paragraphs. I don't know how long I would have to look at it I'm going to call it, to have it register in my mind so that I can actually remember it later. But I'm going to have to practice it, because as we get busier, it's calling for more and more reading. And this is awful, I know, but my husband will hand me something to read, and if it's not important, if it's not what I call, you have your business, and then you have your pleasure, right? I don't mean owning a business. I mean tasks, things that you have to do. If it's not something that he wants me to read that pertains to something that we have to do, I'll just look at him, and I'll just leave it sitting there, and most of the time I'll say, you know I'm not going to read that. And he starts laughing. He's like, why? Because I don't like to read anymore. And I'm just being honest. I went from liking to read. I went from writing stories. I used to want to write books first, love novels, and then it took a big change into children's stories because seeing their faces light up, and I used to love to read to kids. Our high school actually had a program where I believe my sophomore year, we went over and we got to read to a kindergarten class and split in groups. And the joy on their faces, the way their eyes would light up, the way we would all be laughing, sometimes you couldn't even finish a page. Just that joy I saw, I liked that. And then the lady that ran the program knew a publisher, and it was so cute. They got to publish their own book, and then someone else did the illustrations, but it got bound and everything. And I think it was about a child and a sailboat or something. I don't know if they grew up selling with their parents or what it was. I almost pictured the title. I can see the cover. The sky is blue, and the little kid in the front of the book. And I think the boat had a white sail, and it was red. And then, for some reason, I'm trying to remember if it was out in water, but I'm seeing green. I'm thinking that's grass, right? Possibly, but I'm picturing it right now. And the writing was, I don't remember what color the writing was in, white or red. It wasn't called A Sailor's Dream. It was, I have to think of, because like I said, it really did get published. And that would be nice. It wasn't called My Sailboat. Knowing me, I'll be on my second walk, just walking, trying to relax, and boom, it'll all be there. And I'm like, now I gotta do an update for my next video. But I don't remember. But they were so excited. And so the process of writing a book was not just explained to them, but was shown to them and to us. And so that's when it changed. I just wanted to have super funny books that would make them laugh with cute little characters, and I was able to draw. So my plan was to do the illustrations myself, and then just to go from there, I had 2 poems published, I think by my junior year. And it was on poetry.com. I want to say poetic, not poetic, poetry. And then I think it got archived. And I think I'll tell you guys the story before. I had the book of all the people, including myself, that got published in there. And then one of my parents had to decide if my picture could go in the book because I was so young. I don't think I was older than 10. As much as I can picture that book, it was I think there was a paper version and a hardback version of it, and I think we got that one. And I remember like brown, or like that color was that cognac, colored, probably fake leather, and slightly padded. I don't remember what it said on the front if it had any writing, possibly in gold letters. But I just remember I can see it in the pages. I don't remember them being white. It looked like a fancy paper to me. Picturing like it was cream or something. It's kind of hard to describe. If I come across that book, or I think it's back at home, at some point we have to go through these boxes, but I want to say that one of my family members might actually have it in a box and not even know it's there. I've looked for this book before. I would say late teens, early 20s, and didn't find it. So I don't know what happened to it. I don't think I ever took it from that. Well, I don't want to say house because now there's a new one in its place, but on the same lot. I don't think I ever took it from there, from whatever box it went in. So yeah, I'll be excited if it's found. I didn't want to tell the name of one of my poems. Also because I don't know if you can republish someone else's work after it's been published. I'm not sure. So the only way I'm willing to give the title of the first one, I don't remember the title of the second one, is if I find that book. And I don't know what rights I have to it, being that I wrote it, or wrote them. But I'll have to do some research. But first, the book has to turn up. And right now, it is nowhere to be found. Okay, so we're at 38 minutes, 16 seconds. And I gotta check the time. I always write the time when I stop as well, if I remember. And since I don't have the book up here, I'm gonna have to flip it over. It's on the front. But I think we did well today. My foot stopped hurting. Treadmill's doing this thing. I'm definitely warm now. So that's it. We can just walk out the rest of the time. We only have a little over a minute left. All right, we're at 40 minutes. Let's check calories and distance. All right, 1.57 for distance, 169 calories. Okay, so we are done. But like I said, if you guys want to share any of your stories, I know there's some stories where, I don't know, that would be kind of different. Yeah, those are different. If I have that happen, then I'll let you guys know. And come to think of it, so I'm gonna see if I can remember enough about this story to tell you guys. We were in, I think, Kansas and Dodge City, I believe, is where it happened. And I should be able to remember because it literally was like 3 weeks ago. But there are bits and pieces that I'm not remembering. And I can tell you this, I wasn't understanding how, well, he would sleep on and off now that I think about it, but when he was awake, how he wasn't experiencing what I was experiencing. I was telling him the stuff that was happening and he was like, what are you talking about? So I'm going to see if I can get myself to remember more so that it at least takes up, let's say 15 or 20 minutes, and then see if I can add to that. But I forgot that I wanted to tell you guys about it. And actually, I had enough time where I could have done it today. But I'm happy I was able to fill in the time, you guys. I hope that you're having a great workout, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully with more details of that story. Have a great day. Stay safe. Bye.